What's up guys, it's your girl Childlike Kate and I am back with a new video. In today's video I am talking about my new job in tech, so if you would like to find out about what that is, stay tuned. If you watched my last video, then you heard about me getting an offer from a tech company to work as an implementation consultant. But before we get into all the details of that, let's rewind and talk about how I got there. So I, probably like you guys too, watch a lot of content on YouTube about working in and getting into tech. One day I had a recommended video on my homepage by a young lady where she talked about how she got into tech with no experience and no background in technology. So of course I indulged and watched the video, and in the video she explains that her new role is as an implementation consultant. She talks about her background in auto insurance claims, some transferable skills between the two, and then she goes into detail about how to answer certain interview questions. So her video really resonated with me because we have a similar background. I also have a background in auto insurance claims, and so I could easily see myself in her shoes. And my curiosity was piqued because implementation is a non-coding tech job that I hadn't heard of up until this point. Typically when people talk about non-coding jobs in tech, they typically default to project management, customer success management, design, and I had looked into all those things but wasn't really interested in doing any of them. So I decided to do more research on implementation to see exactly what it was about. So where you would typically see an implementation role is at software as a service companies. That's because they are business to business companies. In this role, you help the client, the other business that you sold your service or software to, set up their system and have a solution that works specifically for their business. I was interested in what I was finding about the role and decided to go ahead and pull the trigger. So before doing that, I really wanted to make sure that I could translate my transferable skills on my resume. So I went back and watched the YouTube video and really took notes and paid attention to what she was saying. And because we do have the same background and I was trying to go into the same role, I literally took some of the exact things from her video and applied it to my own situation. And then I started looking for implementation roles, and I only applied to jobs that were remote. In my last two roles, I was fully remote, and I have come to learn that that is just how I work best. Even in college, I preferred online classes instead of in-person classes. I'm just not that much of a people person. Like, I know how to be nice and I can give you good service, but I would rather keep to myself. Anyway, most of the companies that I applied to for implementation specialists or implementation consultants, I never heard back from. Like, to this day, I still haven't even received a rejection email. But as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, the company that was #1 on my list, their recruiter did get back to me, and he let me know that I was not moving forward because he was currently interviewing people who already had experience working with Salesforce, and he advised getting on Trailhead or signing up for Talent Stacker or some of the other companies that help you get Salesforce certified so that I could get that certification and some experience. Well, I actually was already on Trailhead working towards the Salesforce Administrator certificate, so that was already in motion. But I didn't want to wait until I finished that to get a job. Like, I was just ready to go back to work. So I reached out to the young lady whose YouTube video I had watched, and I let her know that I watched her video and that we had a similar background. And because of her video, I was interested in going into implementation. I let her know some of the roadblocks I was having and said, you know, it seems that your company went ahead and hired you without Salesforce experience. If your company is not only based in Chicago, which is where she is or was, do you mind sharing the name with me if that's not a problem for you? And she did let me know that although they are based in Chicago, they have a lot of remote opportunities as well, and she shared the name of the company. So I was very thankful for that, and I went to their website to see what kind of remote roles they had. I did see quite a few in implementation, but before applying, I wanted to look them up on Glassdoor because I never heard of this company. And long story short, I was not impressed with what I saw. So I decided it was going to be a last resort application. Well, it came to the last resort. So I applied to one of their implementation roles, but I did also apply to some programming roles that they had. It wasn't quite software engineering, but close to it. So it was a step in the right direction of where I was trying to go. I knew in the back of my mind that I was definitely going to get an interview for the implementation role that I applied for based on the job description and the way that it was titled on the opening. And I knew that if I got the interview, I was 9.8 times out of 10 going to get the job. Actually, I've never interviewed for a company and not got hired. So I knew 10 out of 10 I was gonna get the job if I got the interview. I got an email invitation to interview within a week. And I actually scheduled my interview like a few days out to give me time to prepare, but she actually requested that I do it a day earlier, I guess to move the process faster. She let me know that the interview slots were set for an hour, but it most likely was not going to take that long. However, when we talked, we ended up going over an hour. It was very conversational. She did ask some like situational questions toward the end, I guess to make it more officially an interview, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I could tell that she really liked me. She did ask me toward the interview how I felt about the opportunity on a scale of 1 to 10, and I told her like a 7, because while this is something new that I hadn't done before and that was kind of exciting, it wasn't necessarily where I was trying to go. We did discuss that I had spent the past year studying software engineering and web development, and that's really where I was trying to go. I told her that I had been applying for apprenticeship opportunities, but it wasn't really going well, and she empathized with all of that and understood from a recruiter standpoint of why things were probably going how they were for me. So she told me that she wanted to give me some time to think about it since I wasn't at a 10 yet. She did let me know I would hear back within 48 hours, but most likely the next day. She did call me the next day and asked me again how I felt and wanted to know if I was at a 10. I lied and said yes, because I was sure that I was going to get the job offer and I was just ready to go back to work. So after I said yes, she did advise that we have an offer ready for you and next steps, all of those things. So I went around the world explaining how I got the offer as an implementation consultant. My job specifically is at a human capital management software as a service company. Although I started training this week, this is today that I'm filming this video was day 3 for me. I'm filming after work. I still don't really know what I'm going to be doing. The first 2 days were new employee orientation. Then we started technology and systems training, maybe. But it's pretty much just showing us how to use our system and how to find the resources that you need. So for my particular role, I haven't started the training for like that specifically yet, so I can't really tell you what I'm gonna be doing yet, especially since there are different kinds of implementation consultants at this company. There are payroll implementation consultants, there are time and labor implementation consultants, and emerging markets, which is fairly new for the company, I believe. Like, I want to say in the last 3 years. That could be a lie though. So I am in the emerging market sector. I won't actually start training specifically for emerging markets implementation consulting until next week. I'll just have to do another video once I'm actually on the job so you can get the details of what I do on a day-to-day. Maybe I'll do a day in the life. So I'm really not sure if I'm going to like what I do yet. I have yet to find out, but I already kind of have the feeling that I'm not going to stay in the role beyond a year. The company does believe in designing your career, so they allow you to move around and kind of figure out where you feel most in place. So I'll be eligible to move around after a year. I mentioned in another video that I am still working towards my Salesforce certification, and I am indeed still doing that. This company has Salesforce roles within, so I could possibly go do something Salesforce related for this same company, or I could go do Salesforce something elsewhere. But I don't know, that's all in the future, so it's speculation. I was asked in the comments if I am still doing anything development related, and the answer is like no, but yes. I try to do coding challenges every day. After a certain amount of time, if I haven't solved it, I'll stop and then work on it again the next day, come with a fresh mind. So that's the extent of development that I'm doing right now, coding challenges every day. So that's my new job. That's what I'm doing now. If you've made it this far into the video, you a real one. Go ahead and hit that like button so you can be real. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.